Welcome to Narratives Leadership Story Talks, where great leaders go beyond the bottom line to create lasting impact. Join hosts Jerome and Julienne Ryan as they uncover the stories behind real-world challenges, offering practical insights to help you lead with empathy, authenticity, and purpose. Each episode dives into how leaders use storytelling to build trust, foster connection, and inspire action. Whether you're navigating workplace dynamics, driving change, or building high-performing teams.
Well, in anything that we do, whether it is print media or it is live broadcast, I'm going to start by writing my thoughts down. I know exactly how many sentences I get if it's going to be 15 to 20 seconds. That is only 3, maybe 4 sentences. So if I'm funneling all of these ideas from, here to here, I am constantly scratching out the words and trying to figure out how to get the phrase 5 words into one. The same thing is happening if you are writing in a newspaper or writing for a magazine. There's a word count. There's a length that you have to fit. And so when your brain starts to work like that, you start to naturally just choose words that are authentic, that are specific, and that allow people to connect to you and your story.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. That was Jen Mueller telling us all about her experience as a sports broadcaster and of course, this framework that she has and is always thinking about in terms of how to communicate in a way that's really succinct and gets your point across with the least words possible, because in that environment, you really need to do that. You've only got a few seconds to get your message across. But I loved that it connected so well to the business world and leadership more broadly as well. But I know you had some thoughts about that, Julienne.
I could have been in that interview for a long time because there were so many things that came to mind. It's not just Jen, again, getting a word in with the athlete and getting them to pay attention, or with the coach. She was also jockeying for position with other reporters. She was not alone in her ability to, have these conversations. So I think that precision and that preparation that she's saying, that before those words come out of her mouth, she has tested and run through things and thought things out. So big guidance for all of us to think conversations and smart meetings come with pure spontaneity, not happening. So I think some great visual prompts for us to, and audio prompts for us to work with.
Yeah, preparation is key. And it's interesting because the more prepared you are, and the more you've kind of written things down in advance in terms of what thoughts you have about this particular meeting that you're going into, the more I find you're able, and I see this with our clients as well, you're able to be more present and paradoxically, actually more spontaneous. So you'll notice more things in the room the more prepared you are. It's not like you're sticking to a script that doesn't allow you to sort of leave a certain lane, or you just have to keep going until you get to the end of your script. Rather, it's like I've prepared and now I'm present for this audience. And what I'm mostly paying attention to in the room is how are people responding, and is everyone on board with this? Does everyone get the message that I'm talking about here?
And the thing I want to stress here, preparation doesn't mean being robotic. And that's what we have to keep in mind. It's about giving ourselves the energy to flow. So when we're coaching and we're doing our facilitating or doing things, we're always using a musician or an athlete or performer, because they're rehearsing a lot of the plays, they're rehearsing the context, and then they can put their soul into it and be spontaneous and use intuition and collaboration in those moments. But they need to be ready to be ready. And I think that's the message that comes across with what Jen talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. And my facilitator mind kicks into gear as well, because I was just thinking, she talked quite a bit about the constraints of time, that there's often not a lot of time, especially in the sports broadcasting world and locker rooms, et cetera. Hard to get your voice in there. And if you do, then you'd better be prepared. And I think it's very similar in business, because what I would encourage people to do is if your next meeting, you know it's going to be an hour long and you're the host of that meeting, just prepare with time. Give yourself ample time actually to sort of look at what that hour is going to look like. How many people do I have? And make sure that when you're in that meeting, you're giving people the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And that those that aren't the usual suspects in terms of speaking up, make sure they get that same amount of time as the ones that usually do speak up. I know that we do this in our work. Time is
Mm-hmm.
really important, and we really want to make sure that everyone gets a say. And there are ways to do that, but time is actually a great constraint when you think about it. And I think a lot of people
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I just don't have enough time, or there's too much time. There's always a bit of a conflict with time. And I think my message is more like, try to embrace it, try to make time your friend, and see if you can shape it a certain way. And once you do that in your preparation, you'll feel a lot more comfortable, because so many times we're just so uncomfortable just because we're afraid that we're not going to get our message across in the amount of time that we have. But so much depends on other people in the room. So just make sure you're dividing up that time, so it's not just about you, but it's everyone else, and they all get the same amount of time. That's my advice, because I see it work all the time. It creates so much safety actually in the
Mm.
room.
My favorite word, besides context, is curate. Like, do
Mm,
you need to say all these words? Is those everything you want to cover? Is that essential? Is that something can be done in a follow-up? What's the core things we need to cover and to engage and
yeah.
have? And to your point, have we done all the listening we need to have? So anybody who's listening to this should really go back and hear some of the key points she makes. And
Mm,
we're talking about even the quieter people in the room, like introverts, giving them a space to succeed and then finding ways to engage them. Some very good facilitation tips in
yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And yes, I encourage everyone to go back to narrative.com. Julienne, one more thing.
One more thing, because I couldn't ask in the episode, and I was just dying to do that. She makes reference to Gatorade, and
Mm.
then that whole celebratory or champagne, what happens at some events, like at the end of the events, and I'm like, does she use that as a training prompt? It's like, you talk too much, you're gonna get doused, So I think all these little visuals are so golden during her session. So, but I will reach out to her on another day. But I think we need to do that sometimes, remind us what we need to do to be a bit better
Mm.
about engaging with others and smiling as we do it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, as always. And to everyone listening, you'll find this episode on our website, narrative.com, NARATIV.com, and of course, anywhere you find your podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe, because that way you won't miss a single episode. It'll just go right into your feed. And always go back to the website, because you'll find resources there, including how you can learn to tell your own story. We've got different programs on there, whether it's one-on-one or group trainings. We even have a self-paced on-demand program right there with a 25% discount if you use code NARATIV at checkout. So go and look at all of that. And if you have any questions, please come to us. We are always ready to listen. And we do that with pleasure and with a smile, as
And we will
as
work with you
Julienne just said. Absolutely.
live.
That's right. That's right. All right. Very good. Well, we will see you next time. Thanks, Julienne, as always. And
Yes.
bye-bye, everyone.
For more information on the narrative listening and storytelling method and how it can help your business, go to narrative.com.